campus pastor at the University of Oregon, and his job there was guiding and mentoring thousands of young students on their own personal and spiritual journeys, of which, of course, their love and intimate relationships are a very important component. Bill, with this experience under his belt, Bill started writing the book in 1999, and just like with love, the trial and error method was what has brought this book to us today. But before I invite Bill up to share a few words with her, there's someone else I would like to meet. Carla Cochran, who is with us here tonight.
I read the book about a year ago now, and absolutely loved it. I couldn't put it down. I couldn't wait to get back to it. It's a conversation between a couple. They talk very candidly about their life together and many topics that all of us either think about or do talk about or have a hard time discussing. And I absolutely loved it because it was so candid and things that couples, I think, need to talk about. And I loved it so much that when I met Bill, I said, oh my God, I love your book. Can I get more copies? I need to pass it out to other people. So that's what started us knowing each other, and I now have more copies to promote in other places, but I also am reading it again because there's just so much information that I learn something from it every time I read it, and I think it's very helpful, very enlightening information.
Ladies, please no swooning. He is married, Mr. Bill Sirius.
Well, so I was thinking of what I could say fairly concisely, and one thing that maybe you could think about to avoid stagnation and actually to build some depth of love in your key relationship. And I thought that the one thing you could understand is this: your partner does not feel loved in the same way that you do. Okay, now that's not a surprise, is it? But what is not a surprise is not necessarily taken seriously either. Your partner does not feel loved in the same way that you do. So if you were to make the biggest change in your relationship in terms of a paradigm shift, the change might be this: to figure out how they do feel loved and then to love them in that way, and vice versa. That sounds simple enough, doesn't it? But you know, we feel loved really differently. I think we tend to befriend our similars. Okay, people who think like us, people who like the same things. People can sit down at a coffee shop and talk and talk and talk because we think alike. We like each other. We empathize. But you know what? We don't find our love relationships often among our similars. We find it among our opposites. Why? I think the reason is because we don't necessarily want, well, we like empathy, good, that's fine. But we want somebody to cover for us. If we're weak in one area, we're looking for a strength in this area. If we're strong in this area, we're a complement to that person in another area. So we're looking for people who don't necessarily empathize with us, but people who complete us. Two picture frames here. And let's say you were to say this is you, and this is your partner. And if you were to write on these frames, we'll call them love frames, okay? If you were to write, 10 or 12 things that when you do that thing, they really feel heard, they feel taken care of, they feel treasured, they feel appreciated, they feel cherished. What would they write on their love frame? And then if you were to write on yours, what would you write? There'll be some similarities, but I'll bet you there'll be a lot of differences, won't there? Think about doing this together, and then exchange your love frame with each other and talk about it. I'll bet you you'll have truly an intimate conversation.